Hello my friends and welcome back. It is Monday, my dudes. That means you and me, we are going to make it this week. We're going to survive the hell out of this week. Now I'll take a moment of your Monday. I just want to share. Last week, I remember Ukrainian troops domesticated a fox on the front lines. Well, this is a follow-up. It's the very same fox. Now it really likes to be with the Ukrainian troops. It's nice and warm. It's nice and safe. Really pretty stuff. Unfortunately, I don't see these videos coming out of Russian army. Maybe they would eat the fox, but I don't think they would domesticate it. Now, this fox, I cannot be so sure it's for the Ukrainians because it's trying to steal the Ukrainian Kalashnikov right here. Maybe it's trained by the Russians to be domesticated and then suddenly steal the weapons. Might be a Russian agent. Cannot be sure. But he sure as hell is cute. Alright, now that the mandatory part is out of the way, I can actually tell you what happened throughout the weekend. And I'll begin with, and I know you're sick of this topic because all throughout the last week I reported on this, Feodosia oil terminal in Crimea. It was hit last Monday, so 1 week ago, around that time, and it burned till Wednesday. Then till Friday, and now the last weekend only it burned to zero. The Russians could not extinguish it because oil fires very difficult to put out, so they just used a good old proven tactic of waiting on it until it burns out. And finally, the Feodosia oil terminal has burned to zero. After 5 days, the fire in the oil depot in Russian-occupied Feodosia, Crimea, has been extinguished. The satellite pictures show extensive damage. At least 10 oil tanks have been completely destroyed and 6 more heavily damaged. Since interlinking pipes have been destroyed as well, it is safe to assume that most of the oil storage facility has been rendered inoperable. I have nothing else to add than very nice. And if we look at the photo, it's pretty clear cut. So you don't have to be an analyst or an expert to tell which oil silos here have been burned to zero. And all of this is connected anyway, so if this one is burned to zero and it's connected with pipes to this one that hasn't been burned, it still cannot be used until you make some fixes to the system, which they're gonna do, but it's massive damage. Well, Ukrainians always want to keep the New Year's going on in Russia, and since the Feodosia took so long to burn out, they didn't really attack another oil terminal. They waited for this to burn out, because too much fire is too much fire. But now that it has burned out, Ukrainians immediately got to work and attacked yet another oil terminal. I know it's repetitive. Oh, Artur, another attack? Tell me something I don't know. Tell me something new. There is nothing new, my friends. Ukrainians keep destroying the Russian oil terminals, and there are tens, if not over 100 of them in the strike range. So this is gonna be a part of my videos for a long time. Yet another Russian oil depot was targeted by Ukrainian UAVs. This time in Rehi, in the Russian-occupied Luhansk Oblast in eastern Ukraine. And look at this beauty. It is a small one, but it's still a juicy target, and it will burn for a long time. And remember when I said about the oil fires are really difficult to put out? Well, here is a video. In this case, it's a small baby of an oil silo. Russians are trying to put it out with a mixture of water and foam and some chemicals that you're supposed to use to put out oil fires, because you cannot use only water. You can see on this video how difficult it really is. You put out one part, another one starts to burn. You put out this part and the fire starts to spread from down here again. The guy is just chilling. Another Monday, another oil terminal on fire. Ivan, this is our life now. Very chill guy, very chill. But the point remains that these oil silos are very difficult to extinguish for anybody, not only the Russians. My friends, I want to make a big collage on my webpage, rehistore.com. I want to have photo, all of you wearing different Ukrainian themes or Rehi merch, Rehi designs. For example, Ukrainian fire drone hoodie with Baba Yaga dropping some heavy fire onto the Russian tank. This is me wearing. I want to put you wearing it on this webpage. So go and get it and please send me a photo. If you don't want me to use it, then don't send a photo. But if you're okay with it, send it. I'll make a collage. It's gonna look heavenly. Also, a very beautiful thing happened. I think this was Friday or Saturday. It was October 12th when this happened. And since I'm not working on the weekend because I'm a human being and I need to rest, otherwise I'll go crazy because, I mean, this is war. I'm not working that time. But I saw it happen. It was beautiful. A Russian Su-34 was shot down this morning about 50 kilometers from the front line by an F-16. Wow, wow, wow. Very nice. F-16 shooting down a Russian fighter bomber that drops a glide bomb. I mean, this is what I needed in my life. I didn't know it, but this is exactly what I needed. According to Russian sources, the Su-34 was dropping glide bomb when it was shot. The crew did not survive. Oh no. Oh, sad noises. The same source claims that a Ukrainian F-16 intercepted the Russian plane. If confirmed, it will be the first Russian kill for an F-16 in this war. Now, why is this such a big deal? Well, yeah, first of all, it would be the very first kill of an Su-34 by an F-16, which is so important because the Su-34 is able to bombard Ukrainian positions and even cities with glide bombs without ever crossing onto Ukrainian airspace. It can release the glide bomb, for example, the Fab 3000, the massive beast of a bomb, 15-20 kilometers from Ukrainian airspace and then turn back. And the massive bomb glides over the border to the target. It has a massive explosion, destroying a lot. You cannot do much about it. You cannot shoot the glide bomb down. You cannot run away from it since it's so big of an explosion. What you can do is two things. Destroy the Russian planes on the ground, which unfortunately the Western allies don't want Ukraine to do, deep range strikes. They don't want this to happen. Or second of all, shoot down the Russian Su-34, dropping the glide bomb. Shooting down one wouldn't change, much because Russia has a lot of Su-34s, but it does change because then Russian pilots don't want to fly. They don't want to do these missions anymore. The fear, they are afraid of the F-16. It's this mystical Western jet that can shoot down everything. If one goes, if another one goes, the third one goes, the Russian pilots won't fly anymore. They refuse. So this is huge. Russian propagandists immediately started denying it when reports surfaced that yesterday's Su-34 might have been shot down by an F-16. Fighter bomber calls the plane trash. It's a bit weird because Fighter Bomber is a quite known Russian military blogger, and Su-34 is also a fighter bomber aircraft. It's like a fighter slash bomber multi-purpose Russian aerial assets. And Fighter Bomber, the Russian military blogger, calls the F-16 trash, which shot down the Russian fighter bomber. Don't ask me, it's weird. And in the very next sentence admits that Russian pilots are going all out to shoot down at least one F-16, often taking risk and violating instructions. Moreover, it turns out that most Russian aircraft are lost due to equipment failures and crew inexperience. This is true. Later in this video, another accident happened. Another plane fell out of the sky. This happens quite often in Russia now since they don't have the spare parts. Most of the spare parts, even for Russian planes, were made in the West and they're sanctioned now. So the planes not being maintained tend to fall out of the sky. This is Donetsk Oblast. And this is a Russian lighting up a Russian Molotov cocktail. What is he going to do with it? Is he going to drink it? No, my friends, he's going to throw it at a Russian infantry fighting vehicle. Oh, damn, look at this. A very beautiful picture, very pretty picture I like to see in my Monday's video. A Russian saboteur, partisan, however you want to call it, in Russian-occupied Donetsk burns their own infantry fighting vehicle. Very nice. Keep it going, my friends. Now, my friends, let's watch a video of results from a Russian assault on Ukrainian positions. We mostly see a drone footage about this stuff, but now it is a Russian tank driver on the ground next to the vehicles analyzing what happens. It's quite plain and simple. I mean, just to show you what I usually talk about, now we got it from the source. 700 meters left until Pichania. This is the situation. We got a destroyed T-72, destroyed BMP, I think. Yeah. I came to evacuate the BTR. There's another destroyed one here. And that's burnt. Oh, that's the BTR. Boom. He came here to evacuate that because that was the only one that was not destroyed. Like 5 were destroyed and 1 remained. So he was sent back with his tank to evacuate the BTR. We're gonna start it. The dead are over there. Oh no. Oh no. He's so chill because he's 700 meters from Ukrainian positions and they could still strike him. It's like, 300s are over there. The tanks are destroyed here. I'm gonna take the BTR and go. Regular one Monday for me. This is my T80. Also destroyed. Yeah. You get it from the source. Don't take anybody's words. Watch the videos, my friends. Go to the sources. Like they're in the description in Jake Bro's videos, in my videos, in Denis Davidov's videos. Whoever military blogger you watch. Yeah, you can watch them, but go and check out the sources also. Make up your own mind. In this video, I mean, it's plain black and white. In this video, we watch yet another frontline situation for the Russians, and I would love to bash on the Russians here, but this is the situation, unfortunately, for the Ukrainians also. It is just damn difficult to get drinking water on the front. It's more easy to get food, because it lasts longer than water. You need huge quantities of drinking water. Because if you drink like dirty bottled water, it's really bad. It's really bad for the stomach. It will spread like wildfire. It's horrible. You cannot. And here Russians, they're lacking drinking water. They're trying to make makeshift filters to filter it out and drink at least something, because they need to drink water, of course. It's very difficult to set up logistical supply lines to the front lines when there's a lot of mud, fields, roads are bombarded. It's the same for both sides. In this instance, it's the Russians. That is something that people don't really much talk about. Oh, front line, it's terrible, it's bad for your mind, you're getting depressed, friends getting killed. Not many people talk about the actual logistics that men need to eat and drink. It's simple as that. I think Napoleon said it, that an army fights on its stomach, or marches on its stomach. So if their stomach is empty, this is thirsty also, they cannot march, aka they cannot fight. So this is one of the most important things, and it's very difficult to do since the rain season is approaching and fields are muddy. And of course, if you can catch the rainwater, that's fine. But if you can't, you got to take the muddy water from the puddles. Now, my friends, we will go to Chechnya, Grozny, the capital of Chechnya, one of Russia's Muslim areas, southern Russia. Let's say that it's occupied by Russia. It's led by Putin's puppet Kadyrov. This is Chechnya's Grozny's gas station, one of the gas stations. Let's see what happens to it. As you can see, it goes kaboom. Huge explosion. Boom. It's nice fireworks. And the dudes don't care much here. The thing is, everybody has said it. This is said also by already in the 90s. People who knew Russia were saying this, that the downfall of the Russian Empire will begin in Caucasus, which is in the Caucasus areas in the southern Russia, which is Ingushetia, Chechnya, and Dagestan. These are 3 very distinguished Muslim areas and ethnicities in southern Russia. They are not Russian in any sense. They're not Russian culture, not Russian language. They're a totally different ethnic group occupied by Russia. And they don't really like each other, and they don't like Russia, and they're very, very like fighting. So it will begin from there. Now, this is the explosion from another angle. You can see a huge canister flying. Boom. Wow. Damn, I'm glad he's up in the building. I mean, that is a heavy canister and flew like 200 meters. But this dude is not up in the building and films the same explosion. Boom, the canister coming his way. Wow. And then it stops a little bit before. I'm glad the video ended. Otherwise, you could have got hurt. The thing is, before the summer in Dagestan, in May, I think it was, there was a huge gas station explosion in Dagestan, and I think 11 people got killed. Well, in this Chechnya's gas station explosion, 4 people got killed. Dagestan and Chechnya and Ingushetia, they don't like each other at all. They're all Muslims. They're supposed to be brothers under Russian occupation, but no, they don't like Russia, they don't like each other, they're at each other's throat all the time, and without Russia they would fight each other in a very bloody way. So Russia is like the guarantor, like this mother who's trying to keep the brothers away from each other, otherwise they would rip each other's throats out. And it's, Russia's power is weakening all across the, supposed Russian sphere of influences. They are weakening because all of the power is cobbled up in Ukraine. They're begins to be explosions in Chechnya and Dagestan and Ingushetia. I mean, last week, Kadyrov officially announced a blood feud on a few Russian State Duma members. One of them was from Ingushetia. Blood feud might sound something from medieval ages, but for Chechens, this is sacred. This cannot be undone. This cannot be settled out or handshake. Boom, it's over. You cannot make peace when you have blood feud. You have to kill every last one of other clans' members. Mothers, fathers, wives, brothers, daughters, sons, everybody has to go under. Then the blood feud is over. And this is what has been announced by the leader of Chechnya, Kadyrov, last week. Gives us an idea of what's really going on there in southern Russia. There, it's like the Balkans before the First World War for Europe. Chechnya is the Balkans of Russia. Well, I cannot show this next video, but there's a video about it. Surveillance camera captured the attack on Putin's enforcers in occupied Republic of Ingushetia. 3 of the 4 Russian counter-terrorist police fascists were killed in their parked car. And in the video, the car is parked and 2 dudes from Ingushets come onto the car and just like go through it, make it into a... What is the thing with holes in it? I don't know. They put a lot of holes into the car and just take out Putin's cronies. So Ingushets and Chechens are showing their mindset, showing their anger at Putin's power structure. They're fighting back. They're fighting each other. There's explosions. There's blood feud now. Things are getting out of hand there. And that is not it. There is even more to it. Like there's many things that happened already in the past few days in those 2 Muslim republics in Russia. The video shows a car that came under fire near Magazovsky Circle. A huge crowd of so-called amateur forensic experts gathered around it. The photo shows the unknown person's burnt car. The Second Department for Investigation of Particularly Important Crimes has opened a criminal case regarding the shooting near Magazovsky Circle in Nazran. The articles are assault on the lives of employees and illegal arms trafficking. The unknown persons are wanted. According to the investigation department, the shooting of Kamkoyev's car was carried out directly from another car without getting out. There's a lot going on, but the main thing is that Chechens and Ingushets are fighting each other, not openly, but there are like hits ordered one by one, there are explosions, and this always spills out. I mean, every time there's violence there, in the Soviet times, even peacekeepers were sent to the area. Even from my family, someone went there as a special forces in the end of the 80s. I mean, even the Soviet times, this violence there spread out to all of the Soviet Union. Soviet prisons were filled with Ingushets and Chechens. I mean, they were known as the brutal killers and mercenaries, like Kadyrovites are known nowadays. Only nowadays they're like TikTok soldiers, more like. So it will begin there. Let's give them time, but this is the Balkans. This is the powder keg of Russia. The southern Russia, Muslim republics. This is my humble prediction. Wow. Now, my friends, another video from the front coming from the Russians. This is a Russian soldier, 3 Russian soldiers actually. The first one is riding an electric bike. Second one and third one electric scooters. Now, with this battery, you can supposedly run for 30 to 35 kilometers with the speed of like 30 kilometers per hour, which is what, like 15 miles, 10 miles per hour, something like that. It's okay speed. It's totally okay speed on the front. It's really good. And these guys are withdrawing from their positions. As I talked about before, you're supposed to have infantry fighting vehicles, right? But what are infantry fighting vehicles designed for? They are designed to keep the soldiers alive, protect them. But in Russia, why keep the soldiers alive if by dying they can do many good things for Russia? First of all, they can take away Ukrainian ammunition by dying. They can gobble up Ukrainian ammunition with their bodies. Second of all, a dead soldier is a good soldier. I mean, they're not going to fight back. They're not going to drink. They're not going to cause problems. You don't have to pay them, and you don't have to pay the relatives if you cannot find them. So, death on the front for Russian commanders is in any way a good thing, because they otherwise have to pay out the wives and organize a burial, find the guy. If he dies somewhere on the scooter, it's good. Just give them fast scooters. They will go, force them to go, and they will die somewhere alone. Good thing for the Russian commanders. That's what they want. That's what they're using them for. This next piece of news is, I don't like it, but I cannot do much about it. Not my country, but we don't have that luxury here in Estonia. Germany will no longer supply heavy equipment to Ukraine. Although Germany announced new aid, it turned out that it was previously promised delivery. The publication also writes that Zelensky asked a German chancellor for permission to attack Russia with Western weapons and for guarantees of a quick NATO accession, but he did not receive any support. Field Marshal Olaf Scholz is the greatest catastrophe for Ukraine and for the security of Europe. Again, every country, I say we, usually I do mean every country who is next to Russia, because Germany is not, Italy is not, Spain is not, France is not. These countries are helping, but they cannot, if they want, it's okay for them to not help. For us, we don't have that luxury. We don't have. This is our war. If Ukraine falls, we are next. We are on a list of Russian targets. Everything that takes away Russian missile capabilities, that destroys tanks and soldiers and Russian economy is our fight. Otherwise, that tank, soldier or the economy will be used to take over our countries. So we don't have, on our side of Europe, we don't have the luxury of not to support, the luxury of get tired of this war, or the luxury of let's focus on our own country. There will be no our own country if Ukraine loses. So we cannot say anything like Estonia first or Finland first, Poland first. That doesn't exist. It's not possible. Estonia first is Ukraine first. That's how it is in our part of the world. In this photo, we can see Russians unpacking their new Starlink systems. I don't like it, but what can I do? That's how it is. It's money. So Russians have been knowingly using Starlink. Unfortunately, it works for them and they use it as well as the Ukrainians. I cannot fit it inside my head. How is this even possible? How are they allowed to do so? But they can. There's many videos and photos of them, and they are very good. Starlink is a wonderful system. Works for the Ukrainians, does miracles for the Ukrainians, but unfortunately also for Russians. So with a heavy heart, I report this. And here on the satellite footage, you can also see a Russian drone crew with the Starlink system, enabling them to strike Ukrainians. Very sad. Also, here is another photo from another Russian unit also opening their new Starlink system. What the hell? Why is this going on? Elon Musk, please do something. Please fix this. I was going through my sources when I found this news. It was just too good to skip. I love the smell of Russian fear in the morning, says a topless Budanov. It's great, it's great. Now, my friends, let's watch a video. This comes straight from the Polish-Belarusian border. As I was talking before, that we don't have the luxury of negotiations with Russia, because negotiations with Russia is giving Russia territory and power. That's how it is. Negotiations with Russia equals giving them the victory, territory, and power. We don't have that luxury in Eastern Europe and Northern Europe. So Poland also understands it, and don't take my word for it. This is the Polish-Belarusian border. They don't play around. There's no threat from Belarus. They don't even have a proper army. But still Poland is putting anti-tank obstacles, metal and concrete, and also this wall. It's always manned. There is barbed wire. There are drones up. There is army deployed to this border. They don't play around. They show that they are ready, and 1939 will never happen again. You don't want to mess with the Polish. They are reacting properly. They're even overreacting. They're buying everything that has any kind of weapon capability. They're buying it all. They're getting ready, I think, to occupy Moscow, honestly. But I'm glad. I'm glad that somebody understands what Russia is. Now, my friends, for a moment, forgive me, for a moment, you're free to click away, but as I said many times, war in Ukraine, the war in Israel, or around Israel, and the North Korean, Chinese, Taiwan situation, in my eyes, it is one same conflict. One great conflict with one side and another side. And in this case, if it is one conflict, I can report on this conflict because I see it like that. The Chinese People's Liberation Army has announced the beginning of exercise Joint Sword 2024B around the island of Taiwan and in the South China Sea, involving hundreds of aircraft and ship with the Eastern Theater Command. This exercise will be a continuation of exercise Joint Sword 2024A, which took place on May 23rd and 24th. So this is the continuation of, let's put it out there. They are rehearsing of occupying Taiwan, how to close the strait, how to get your troops across, how to maneuver your vessels and aircraft, how to take out Taiwanese defensive positions with decisive strikes. That's what they are practicing. So let's even make it more simple. They are practicing war with Taiwan. Now, Russia was practicing war with Ukraine in 2022 January when they deployed all of the forces, even actually 21 December and November. They deployed almost 200,000 troops at the Ukrainian border practicing. It was a rehearsal. It was a training operation until they crossed the border. Just to illustrate to you, this is the tactics they use. This is a training exercise. But one day, it won't be. And I remember back then, 2021 November, when the American president and the CIA were talking almost daily about the threats of Russian invasion to Ukraine. I believed it. I already covered it back then before the full-scale invasion began. Go and watch my channel, go and watch the videos, they're all there. I took it very seriously. And I take this very seriously. I take Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, the axes of evil seriously. They want war. They want to change the world order as it stands today. We have an American-led system. I'm very happy with that system, honestly, because we have our freedom in our country thanks to that system, which doesn't mean we have to depend on America. No, we make our weapons. We're ready to defend. We're getting ready to kill every Russian that wants to come over that border. But I still want to live under this American-led system because this is the most prosperous Estonia has ever been. Most free that Estonia has ever been, most happy. I mean, Estonia has never been this great as it is now. And this is when we're part of the American-led system of rules-based order, dollar, what else, whatever you want to call the American, it is the American system. And I like it. We like it. And we will do anything that it would not change. Now, my friends, as I said, I'll report on some Russian planes burning because Russians, they have an issue with two of their industries in their country, thanks to sanctions, are hitting the bottom, the straight bottom, which is the automotive industry and the aircraft industry. Most of the cars, like 90% of new cars in Russia, are Chinese because they cannot produce any vehicles because all of their production capabilities were dependent on Western parts, which they cannot get anymore. Same goes to the aircraft. On the night of October 12th to 13th, Tu-134 military transport aircraft burned down in Russia. It belonged to the 117th Military Transport Aviation Regiment of the Russian Armed Forces. The fire occurred in the Russian Orenburg II military airfield. These aircraft are used in particular to transport the leadership of the Russian Defense Ministry. Yeah, nothing new about it. They burned to the ground, they fall out of the sky, because aircraft, you need to maintain the hell out of them. Like, they are one of the most heavy maintenance assets of any military at all. If you don't maintain them, you're done. Fly them. They cannot even be parked. They will catch fire. There are many different reports from many different sources that North Korea is sending their military soldiers. They're actually their active duty soldiers to Russia. First, there were reports about a month ago that a few North Korean officers were sent to see how the West reacts. The West did not react whatsoever. Of course, if you know anything about talking to Russia and talking with their language, it means if you don't react, you give them a green light. If you don't punch them in the face, that means go ahead, do it. We're not going to punish you. And now more North Korean soldiers supposedly are being sent to the Russian army. I cannot confirm this because I have no credible sources of this. But this is what is being reported by mainstream media. I will let you to make up your own mind if this is true or not. But if it is true, then it proves the point even further that this is one great conflict. And if North Korea is sending troops and China is sending equipment, we're not fighting Russia. I mean, we in Estonia, we're getting ready to destroy everything that Russia has. But Ukraine is not fighting Russia. They're fighting China and North Korea also, which is a very uneven fight. And we, the West, must help more. And now, my friends, I want to read you a short thread about Finland, our Nordic brothers. And they have first-hand contact with the Russians. They know the mindset, and they punched Stalin's nose bloody until he wanted a ceasefire. And Finland, of course, lost the Winter War in a way that they had to cede 11% of their territory, but they gained their independence, which we didn't in Estonia. And now they have no illusions about Russia, no whatsoever. In early 2022, Finland had about 50 6,500 civil defense shelters with space for a total 4.8 million people. Civil defense shelters provide protection against, for example, explosions and shrapnel, collapsing buildings, blast waves, and radiation. Finland has, throughout the decades, never had illusions. They have always gotten ready for a war number 2 with Russia. Of course, there was Winter War and the continuation war, so we could say a war number 3 with Russia. Finland, you don't want to mess with them. It's a country that cannot be occupied. Finnish strategy, defense strategy, is defense of the depth. They are not setting up a single front line. They have military bases all around in deep forests. Their planes can land in the highways deep in the forest. You cannot bombard any airstrip because there always is another highway they can land on. There are bunkers that cannot be taken because they're in the mountains. I mean, Russia has no way, any capability to try this. But if Putin wants to, he will get beaten up badly. And I respect Finland heavily for this. And I have to say with a sad face that Estonia has not been getting ready like that. Yes, we also don't have any illusions and we are buying heavy weapons from everybody and ammunitions, but we don't have any bunkers at all. We haven't built any shelters for the civilian population, unfortunately. And I want to change that. So huge respect to the Finnish, and I think the whole of West must learn from the Polish and from the Finnish. Now, my friends, Monday edition of Buy Me a Coffee, monthly members. It's my favorite part of the video, and that is the foundation of this channel. I am able to do what I do thanks to you guys. Miklos Nagi, Philip, Dominic Reiks, El Grego. Thank you. There's 4 of you. I'm good with 4. Thank you to you 4. Until my next video, my friends, which will be on Monday. So be sure to be back. Slava Ukraini, and bye-bye.